Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. Uh, I was starting to wonder if we were going to hit a third overtime. Didn't happen. I think I wrote the Jets off 1925 of the second period. I was like, well, they've had some effort here, but too little, too late. And I really believed, and I still do think that the Blues played excellent hockey going into the playoffs and throughout this series. But there's just something the Jets have that they haven't had in previous seasons. There's a switch that they turned on. They were without Shifley the whole game. They were without Josh Morrissey for most of the game. Hayden Fleury played a ton of minutes above what was expected and still played well. This is one of those games that people are going to remember decades from now and are going to talk about all that time later. And I think both teams should keep their heads held high. I know that right now the Blues probably aren't going to feel like that. But when they look back on this season, I don't see how it could be considered a failure. They were down and out in January. They felt like they were done, and they made the playoffs. And one of the reasons why I was like, okay, if the Blues are the number one wild card and the Wild are the number two wild card, that would be great. It's not just a matter of my wife's two favorite teams being against each other. I really felt like the Blues were the team that would pull off a huge upset in that first round, and I was really kind of hoping they'd play Vegas so that I wouldn't have that stressor. Not as an insult to Minnesota, but as a compliment to St. Louis. The Blues, there are teams who advance to the second round that I think the Blues would have beaten in the first round, but that's how everything goes. So it was Bennington versus Hellebuck, and Connor Hellebuck fought it in this series. He did. And in the next round, they'll be against Ottinger. Ottinger at times has fought it in these playoffs too. So both goaltenders, high profile, considered to be two of the best American goaltenders, and it's going to be just fantastic. So Thomas to Buchnevich near miss, and then a minute and 12 seconds in. The defense by the Jets was god awful early in the game, and the Blues take advantage of it. Kyrou tips one in close, Parayko and Buchnevich with the assist. So a minute and 10 seconds into this game, St. Louis has taken the crowd out. Because there are definitely some Jets fans that were thinking, here we go again. Here we go again. First round. Here we go again. That was also the first shot. So if this had occurred in St. Louis had home ice, I think we'd have a different storyline here. Maybe just kind of sort of. But the Jets look to respond. Good forechecking by St. Louis. The Blues press at 3.5 minutes. Thomas has a net drive chance that's held. The shots are 3-1 St. Louis. 4 minutes in. So the Jets just have the one shot to this point. They're on their heels a lot in that first period. More good forechecking by the Blues. They're outworking Winnipeg. Lowry has a rush that's defended. And then at 7:16 on a turnover, Joseph makes him pay. He scores unassisted on that rush on what was only the fourth shot on net. So Connor Hellebuck allowing 2 goals on 4 shots. This one buried short side. That can't go in. So that is definitely, I always qualify it as oof. Like just goalie allowed an oof. That's what my voice does. That's what happens when a goalie allows a bad goal. I usually say oof because it's what it is. I don't yell and scream about it. Just oof. So that happens, and the Jets still have one shot. The Blues are up 2-0 on 4 shots. The Jets have 1. But Buchnevich then has a 2-on-1 that's saved. But Hellebuck coughs up a rebound there that he's fortunate his defense cleared, because otherwise it would have been 3-0 right there. You could see he was having trouble, whether it was he wasn't seeing it very well or his confidence was shaken, whatever it was. Hellebuck was fighting that puck early, and it's almost 3-0. Snuggerud has a wrister that's kicked aside. The Jets, no path to the net. With 9 minutes left, the shots are up to 6-1 in favor of the St. Louis Blues. And this is too. They mentioned there's a lot of pressure on the Jets, and I put right here, this is not a pressure issue. And I say that because the start of the playoffs, when you're looking at who's got the best odds, Jets weren't even top 5, I don't think. Like, the Jets' pressure at home is there, which is understandable, but I don't feel like pressure would necessarily excuse what was going on here, or that you could argue they had more pressure than Dallas did last night. More pressure than Washington did against Montreal. More like a lot of teams that are top seeds will have very similar pressure. But yeah, the Blues press are kept to the outside. The Jets' fourth line throws some hits, gets the crowd into it. Fowler fires one wide as the Blues press. The fans call when the referee doesn't, so he sucks. The fans called a lot of penalties in this. The referee did not call them. And both teams, there were definitely missed calls on both teams in this game. There were only 3 power plays. They could have called at least, I would say, 4 power plays for each team. Teams trade rushes. Morrissey was out already at this point. He only played like a little under 3 minutes of ice time. And so, yeah, they did not get much from Morrissey, who has controlled most of the series, only had the 3 assists in the 6 games coming into tonight. And through the first period, the Jets had 8 shot attempts. That's not shots on net. That's just attempting to get the shot to the net. So it's tough. It's 2-0 St. Louis after 1. The Jets look finished. They looked finished. That effort you're looking for just wasn't there. So Morrissey wasn't back in the second period. Did not return to the game. Good forechecking by the Blues leads to an early press. Lowry then had early press. Lowry has a chance that saved the Blues rush. Niederreiter has a chance that's held. Nemesnikov can't bury one in close. The Jets press at 2.5 minutes. The Blues keep him to the outside and block the net. Although the shots are 4-0 Winnipeg, 4 minutes into the period. Kyrou then has a slot shot that's held. There's a press by the Jets at 6 minutes. Hellebuck passes one to the Blues, but he bailed himself out, and I wrote that on the board before John Garrett said it. Get out of my head, John Garrett. I love the way John Garrett calls a game, though. Like, as a color announcer, I love John Garrett's. I missed him for the Canucks broadcast. Maybe that's why the Canucks had a rough season, because John Garrett wasn't calling their games anymore. But at any rate, after that, DeMello prevents a rebound goal. So DeMello gets credit there for preventing a goal that would have made it 3-0. Nemesnikov can't bury one again in close. Nemesnikov twice in that period had chances right on the doorstep. Could not get those pucks past Binnington. More pressure by the Jets at the half. The Blues continue pressing. Velarde fires one wide, and then we get a power play for Winnipeg, and it was a few seconds in they score. At 11:41, Perfetti. It's a net feed that's tipped high into the net. Perfetti scores from Connor and Pionk. So that power play for the Jets that has been very good gets the goal there. Power plays, though not prominent tonight, as I previously said, that cuts the lead down to 2-1. Blues press to respond. Velarde has a net feed that's held. The Blues press with 6.5 minutes left. They're kept to the outside. The Blues press again with 5 minutes left. Broberg has a shot that's held in order to get a line change. So Hellebuck had to hold it there because the Jets have been on the ice for a while and they were gassed. Things get pushed in a hole by Binnington. Buchnevich has a rush chance to block it aside. Connor's then denied on a rush. Joseph fires one high on a rush as well. And then at 19:25, it's another rush chance. And this time it goes in the net. And it's Faksa. Now, Faksa roofs one on a 3-on-2 rush from Walker. And I put right here a backbreaker. It's the final minute of the second period. It gives the Blues a 2-goal lead. It completely pulls the fans out of this game. And I felt like, okay, the Blues have a 2-goal lead. This is probably finished. Even though I remembered last night's Game 7. I don't learn. I'm the guy in the movie Titanic going, they hit it again? Why do they always hit the iceberg every time? Why is nobody actually aware the iceberg's coming? I don't know. I'm going to watch this movie again. They'd better miss the iceberg next time. So 29.2 seconds left. The Blues get a power play. So now they're up by 2 and they've got a power play. Snuggerud, there's a high stick there that isn't called a penalty. This is one of those times where I understand the fans chanting at the referee because they saw it. The stick catches him in the neck. And I don't think he hit the puck, so it's not a follow-through. I'm confused as to why that wasn't a penalty, especially since they blew the whistle for a player getting hit in the throat and being down on the ice, but they didn't call a high stick. So I don't know what happened there, but it's 3-1 for the Blues after 2 with that clearly missed call. It felt like now the calls are going against the Jets as well. Third period, the Jets prevent a setup in the first minute. I think they understood this is the end of our season if we don't get our together. Like, if they didn't get their together, it's done, right? So, late cycle, another clear. The Jets do finish the kill there. Velarde has an inner slot chance that's held. The shots are 2 apiece at 3.5 minutes. The Blues resume the solid defense. The Blues did a good job for most of this game of keeping the Jets away from the net. Ehlers fires one high from in close. Buchnevich then has a slot shot that's gloved aside. Neighbors prevents goal on a rebound. So DeMello did that in the second. Neighbors does it in the third. Good defending on both sides there. Near miss for Connor from in close. Connor then has a rush chance that's held, so we get a little pushing there. Not a lot of pushing in this one, although there were a lot of hits. This game featured a lot of hits. Went on for a while. The hitting went on for a while too. The shots were 7-3 in favor of the Jets at the half, and that's about the ratio that it kept throughout the rest of that period too. Blues press with 9 minutes left. The Jets press with 6.5 minutes left. Sandberg has a shot that's blocked. Niederreiter has a rush chance that nearly fools Binnington. Binnington was looking to go 2-0 in Game 7s. So was Hellebuck, so that was on the line in this. There's a toe save on an Ehlers slot chance. The Blues press with 3.5 minutes left. And this is where I'm like, okay, so they're pressing. There's 3.5 minutes left. This is done. This is done. The Jets have put up a good fight in the third. They haven't got a goal. And it felt like this game was over. If somebody turned the game off with 3.5 minutes left, and I'm thinking Jets fans going, I can't watch this, I wouldn't necessarily blame you, although it's bad form, but I wouldn't necessarily blame you. So the boos are starting. The crowd was starting to get kind of restless here, wanting something from their team they weren't getting. 3:14 left, the Jets call a timeout, and they pull the goalie. And I felt like, okay, it's not early, but it felt like, the Jets haven't really had that much going at the net at this point, so I thought it was an understandable risk, but I had expected an empty net goal pretty quickly after. Thomas misses the empty net, and then with 2:28 left, Blues ice it. And I put right here, the fans are comatose. They're told to make noise. It's so quiet, and then you get, the PA announcer, make some noise, and the crowd cheers, and I thought, man, this is not what I had envisioned for Game 7. So Sandberg has a screenshot that's saved, and then at 18:05, Nemesnikov gets one off the skate of Suter. The assist to Pionk and Sandberg. So now we have a 1-goal game. The goalie pull happens with 1.5 minutes left. Perfetti's denied a tying goal. Binnington holds. They reviewed it. The puck did not completely cross the line. In the event that they had challenged, if it had, I think that would have come back for goalie interference. But it's declared no goal, so there's no need for any further review on that. And we're down to 1:06 left. So was that the last hurrah for the Jets? Is what I was thinking in my brain. Then the Blues ice it with 53.3 seconds left. Then they ice it again with 46.6 seconds left. It's dangerous. It's dangerous icing the puck that often. You're leaving yourself with all these defensive zone face-offs, and it's dangerous. Then at 1957, Perfetti ties it. Yep. His second goal of the game, Connor and Ehlers with the assists. We're going to overtime. And this isn't something I necessarily expected. This is apparently the 200th Game 7 in the NHL's history. The 50th to go to overtime in Game 7 history. And this is the scenario we always dream of as little kids, right? Okay, you're out playing your street hockey. All right, it's Game 7, it's overtime. Next goal wins the Stanley Cup. And there you go. Barron has a wrister that's saved. Sandberg's denied. The Blues rush. Ehlers to Nemesnikov. There's a near miss there. Nemesnikov then has a rush chance that's held. Vlad Nemesnikov earned his pay tonight. He really did. Kyrou to Buchnevich near miss. The Jets ice it. The Blues press at 3.5 minutes. The Jets are forced to ice it again. And it's a similar discussion point as with the Blues, right? Where you really don't want to be icing the puck often. And in the overtime, the Jets were icing the puck often. So, Walker's denied on a turnover. Kyrou's denied. Hellebuck holds. Blues keep forcing turnovers. The Jets ice it again. So, good forechecking by the Blues, which they had through most of this game. Not that the forechecking by the Jets was bad, especially when Morgan Barron was on the ice. Hey, there's a reason Morgan Barron's one of my favorites. So, Blues get the next icing, and then the Jets ice it again. Then we get a delay game call on Braden Shen. The Jets go to the power play. There's a shorthanded rush by Parayko. Then there's another clear. Things get pushy on a hold by Binnington. That power play ends up being killed off. So the Jets had a prime opportunity, and then the Blues press after the kill. You have to be worried about the other team being buoyed by the penalty kill. So the teams trade turnovers. The Blues ice the puck. Walker looks to chip one in, so there were opportunities there. And then on a breakaway, it's Nick Ehlers. He's denied. Binnington coming up. Binnington had a great game. I can't say anything negative about Binnington here at all, nor would I. He had a really, really good game. The Blues rush after that. The Jets then press are kept to the outside. Good forechecking by the Blues, fourth line, to the surprise of no one. Broberg fires one wide as the Blues get some pressure, and then the Jets ice the puck with 29.2 seconds left, but we get to the end of the first overtime, and we go to the second overtime in this game. And the tension rises with each passing minute of overtime, and then it just keeps rising in the second. So Kyrou fires one high. There's an offensive zone face-off that follows. Connor forechecks. A brief press by the Jets follows that. Ehlers to Perfetti. He fires that one high. Blues press at 2.5 minutes. The shots are 2 apiece, 3.5 minutes in. I'm gonna let you in on something. This is where the fact that I do have superstitions that show up a lot in the playoffs. Not during the regular season so much, but during the playoffs they do. I put shots are 2 apiece at 3.5 minutes on that Colorado Dallas board last night, which I have not erased. I left that one up right next to this game, with the idea of, hey, it's the same thing as last night. I'll put it on the board. It was a good luck charm to Dallas. I know it doesn't make any sense. But DeMello has a chance that's caught and held. Teams trade turnovers. The fans call one, the referee does not, and then the fans call another. They let everything go in the second overtime because that's kind of how hockey works. And I know people don't like it. I get it, but it's been the way hockey works the entire time that I have watched the National Hockey League. Blues press at 7 minutes. Joseph has a chance that's held. The Jets press at 9 minutes. And then 11 minutes into the period, the Blues press again. And I have to remind myself not to put with 9 minutes left instead of 11 minutes because it's overtime. You don't know how much time is left. So Perfetti has a rush chance that's blocked. The Blues press 12.5 minutes in. Sandberg then has a shot that's blocked and cleared. Fleury hits the outside of the post. The Jets maintain the puck. And Lowry gets the goal to put the Jets into the second round. The team captain with the goal. It was a shot from the point through a screen. Believe he tips it in. The assist, Pionk and Connor at 16 minutes and 10 seconds of the 5th period of hockey. So the winners tonight are Dallas. I'm just kidding. I'm thinking this series is probably going to start on Wednesday. Wednesday is always a very busy day in this house for the kids and for my wife. So she's trying to figure out the logistics of how she's going to make this work if game one is on Wednesday. But it's Winnipeg and Dallas in the next round. I could not be happier that it is Winnipeg and Dallas in the next round. I could try to stand here and, it would have been fine if it was the Blues and the Stars. I really wanted Jets and Dallas. I think this is going to be a very exciting, very fun series, and I can relax. I can relax and watch a series between two teams that I like playing against each other for the first time in, it's been a while, hasn't it? So the shots on net, 7-3 St. Louis in the first, 10-9 Winnipeg in the second, and then they got there together. They outshot the Blues 15-4 in the third, 11-4 in the first overtime, 8-5 in the second overtime. The Jets outshoot the Blues 47-29. Power plays, St. Louis 0 for 1, Winnipeg 1 for 2. The hits, 73-49 for the Winnipeg Jets. Like, holy crap. Binnington, 43 saves on 47 shots, was excellent. After allowing 2 goals on 4 shots and looking shaky on another shot after that, Hellebuyck got it together, 26 saves on 29 shots. And there you go. So now they're into the second round. It will be interesting to see if Hellebuyck's numbers bounce back against Dallas. I'm thinking they probably do. I really think there was a first round, just a psychological thing with the Jets. I think not completely dissimilar to what we've seen with Toronto at times. And now that they've overcome that and gotten over the hump, now they get to host Dallas. I think that series is going to be really fun. I just do. And Dallas is really happy this went to double overtime, so that Winnipeg will be a little bit more tired and a little less rested, but what a game. What an amazing game. This is why I became the hockey guy, is for games like this. This is how it happened. And this is why I've rooted for multiple teams. I always enjoy hockey a lot more when I have an emotional component to it. And so I will find a reason to rally for each team in a series. Although, as I said, the next round it's Dallas, it's Winnipeg. If Dallas loses to Winnipeg, I'm fine with that. Obviously, I'm okay with Dallas beating Winnipeg, but I'm fine with if Winnipeg beats them. Winnipeg has gone through a lot to get here. It's been a lot of years of falling short. It's nice to see them get out of the first round, and it'd be kind of fun to see what they do in the next round, potentially against Vegas or Edmonton. Imagine a Winnipeg Edmonton series. Oh man. Anyways, there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. And I would like to thank each and every one of you for the channel support and for the fact that I'm able to do this. I'm able to review these games and talk to all you fine people on the internet about it. And I've been really enjoying the way that I'm reviewing these. So don't be surprised if when the regular season rolls around, there's a lot more of me yammering and a lot less of the notes. I've actually been intentionally cutting back on my notes over the last few games. Just this one went on for a long time, so there ended up being a lot of notes anyways. But thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.